Dungeon of Trials, one of the hardest game modes in all of Grand Summoners. Most people regard this as the end game. If you're able to go through all of the various challenges that DoT has set for you, then you have won. Your account is set up completely to the point to where you can tackle practically anything this game throws at you. And a while back, they actually added on to DoT by adding Floor 32. And me, myself, I've never actually played through Floor 32. Well, I did play through it. I beat it, like, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. But I never actually uploaded it, or I never recorded it to show all you guys how I did it and how DoT kind of goes for me now, because it goes a lot better than what it did like a few, years ago whenever I tried it the first time. Like Ignis, for an example. If you guys watch the old videos, you know that I struggled on Ignis for hours. Well, your boy picked up Simon in the most recent Forever Summon, and you already know what that means. Ignis, I'm coming for you. You're getting clapped. That's exactly what I did. This was the team we went with, was a Mono Dark Awoken team. No Ascended characters. What the heck? Somebody's calling me. But this is the team that we used. A Mono Dark Awoken team. No Ascended characters. This is the old reliable. A lot of people used to do this back in the day whenever Ignis first came out because it was just so simple. Or I don't even know if Simon was out then. I don't think Simon was out yet. But when Simon came out, it made this a lot easier. And I'll tell you exactly how this entire thing is set up. For one, you gotta make sure you have some type of burn res or burn evasion on the team. As you see, I use Deus Jade to make sure that I don't get burned. If I get burned, then that makes this fight a whole lot harder. After that, the first stage is very simple. You just gotta kill the first boss. You have all of your crazy damage equips, and then you pop off with them in the second stage. Everyone else will probably die for the most part, but the thing that I will tell you is that if you try to do this, make sure that on your Simon, you time your equips. So you should use Excalibur Morgan or whatever you're using, maybe his true weapon first, and then wait a second, then use Exceeds X, and then eventually use his 4-star magic if you get to that point. I didn't have to do that. The boss died by that point, but yeah, that's the way you have to kind of stagger it to make sure that Simon can actually heal with the lifesteal from Exceeds X. This was one of the hardest fights in all of DoT for me, and I just destroyed her, just bodied her like it was nothing. But that's enough of me putting Ignis in the body bag. Let's talk about floor 29, which I hate this floor. This floor is so annoying. So the team that you have to run is a very, very slow sustain team, because the only way to damage Radis is to actually poison her. You have to poison her and you need to break her. If you break her, if I'm not mistaken, she takes more poison and burn damage, but for the most part, your arts don't deal any kind of damage to her. So you kind of have to just keep this rotation going of like burning or poison, breaking the boss, and just make sure that you're tanking with Gerald and Sandstone. I think some people have used like Shiro in this, but yeah, I just go with the reliable of Sandstone and Gerald. This is really just a battle of attrition. There's not anything too difficult happening here. The hardest part is probably surviving the last threshold, like that last bit of HP. I would say it's about like what, 30% and less right there. So yeah, that's literally it. If you're trying to do this yourself and you're having troubles with it, try to keep Gerald alive till you hit like 30% HP. If you can hit the 30% HP threshold and he hasn't used his revive yet, you're looking pretty good. And another thing is to make sure you bring a pillow, because this is an absolute snooze fest, especially considering you can just die at the end like I did here. But the next run I was able to clear it, so I mean, I guess it was alright. And the next stage is against the fabled Marzex, which was the pinnacle of DoT back in the day. It was like, oh, you got to stage 30, you won. You got to do all 30 floors, you win now. Yeah. They added 2 more after this, but still. The team I actually went with was a Shiro Emiya, a Haruto, a Star God Lisa, and the one and only Demon Lord Rimuru. Demon Lord Rimuru, of course, is getting buffed up by Star God Lisa, and he's also able to buff up himself, and everyone on the team is getting protected by Shiro, and also Haruto can heal and give everyone extra arts damage. But this entire fight is a DPS race. Once you hit each threshold, this man Marzex is going to start doing endless more and more, which means that if he starts doing endless, he gets iframes, which means the timer can just tick freely, and you're going to start to panic, especially if you don't know what you're doing the first time you go into this. One thing I hate about this fight, though, is, I mean, of course, like the whole silence thing and not being able to move during endless and all that, is how he comes out of endless. After he comes out of endless, he like will stand there for a second and you're only able to deal 1 damage to him, but there's no like clear indication when you can start attacking him again. So you kind of just have to wing it and be like, okay, That sounds about right. You know, that should be about the time I can actually hit him. I really wish that there was like a glow, there was like a light, or maybe like a flash on screen or something just to signify that, hey, you can deal damage to him now. Because this entire fight being like super time oriented, super DPS race heavy, it kind of hurts it just a little bit without like giving you some type of clear indication that now you can deal damage. But this fight was very easy. Demon Lord Rimuru is just an absolute goat, especially alongside Star God Lisa. Does so much damage for this man. And just makes short work of Mars X, as you see here. Just look at that. Boom, just dead instantly. Fun fact is that if you have a character that does a singular hit like Ryuko or Rags, you can actually one-shot Mars X. I think Saitama can do it too, but yeah, you can do that. The next stage that we go up against is floor 31, and I think I made a video on floor 31 back in the day. I don't remember how it actually went. Either way, floor 31 is against Lily. And for Lily, you have to be really on your P's and Q's. She does a lot of damage, so we brought Shiro Emiya, but even with Shiro, it gets kind of dicey at times. You need to buff up your accuracy some way to make sure that you're actually able to hit Lily, so that's why we brought Miyu. Also, Lily goes through damage negation, so the shields from Shiro are just useless, and really we're going with nothing but just the raw damage res from Shiro and Emperor. Oh yeah, and there's no heal on this team because if I'm not mistaken, in the second phase, they have a heal over time killer, so don't bring like an overtime healer here. You have to bring like a burst healer or like a stats up character like Emperor, Vox, or whoever. Yeah, Lily isn't too bad. I just had to manage the DPS here as much as I can and just spam, and I mean spam, Emperor's art. There'll be times like, look at this last threshold here. Look at my characters. I'm leaking. Yeah, pretty fast clear on that. 1 minute and 3 seconds. We go to the next phase, which I actually like this phase. I wish more events had this, where you go up against like just hordes and hordes of mobs, and you get bonuses based on how many mobs you kill within like a set period. But yeah, we smacked them all up for a bit, and then we moved on to the final stage, which is against Og. Yeah, it's against Og, which this fight is also pretty brain dead. You have to make sure you bring one of each element, because Og will gain an immunity to every single element at each threshold until he's only vulnerable to a singular element on your team. So yeah, if you bring like a mono team, you're cooked, but if you don't, then you should be fine. And that's really it. Like, Og doesn't really have anything else going for him that is super crazy. I mean, you know, his attacks and stuff are cool, but that's about it. He doesn't really do anything else. Now, floor 32. Oh, Lord Jesus. You guys buckle up. This is a headache and a half. So in order to beat floor 32, you need some type of burn res. Atlas was all I had, which is the free-to-play version of Lua Riding Mirror. It sucks. It doesn't last nowhere near as long. Lua Riding Mirror lasts 20 seconds. This thing only lasts 12, but it is only 30-second cooldown. Either way, if you want to know how to get this, you get this from the Water Ruins, if I'm not mistaken, or the Earth Ruins. It's one of the two. It's whatever the Water Relics drop. You'll also be able to get this as well. This fight is very nerve-wracking. If you have Lua Riding Mirror, it's easy, I will tell you that. And if you have stuff that's able to buff up all stats. Because in this fight too, if you go into the second stage, if I'm not mistaken, they have a heal over time killer. I may have got the mechanics mixed up from the last stage and this stage, but I know for a fact in this fight on stage 2, they have a heal over time killer and they will one-shot you. But yeah, this entire first stage is just don't get burned. That's the mechanic. Don't get burned and break Soleil. As long as you don't get burned, you won't die. But if you get burned, you're gonna die. That's why we use something like Atlas or use something like Lua Riding Mirror to be able to buff up your burn res by 100%. You will also need something like 12th Generation Mizuki or a Rimuru on the team as well to make sure that you have even more burn res than that, because Soleil periodically lowers your burn res at every single threshold, making you more and more susceptible to it. So yeah, you just want to make sure you're on your P's and Q's for that. And that's pretty much it for Soleil. Like, she doesn't really do anything else. Just don't get burned, and she does have evasion, which, you know, kind of sucks, but I was able to hit her, which I don't really understand how I was able to hit her. But if you want to run like a Karch or something like that on a character or like a monocle, then, you know, knock yourself out. Definitely going ahead and do that. But I didn't have to do that with this team. Maybe it's because I have so many hits in my super arts and true arts and stuff. It made it to where it was pretty easy to hit her. But yeah, also I think Chloe lowers evasion like on her skill or something. But if you can get past Soleil, then congratulations. That means that you didn't get a quip gap by not having Atlas or not having Lua Riding Mirror. And now you can fight the big boss herself, which is it's not Demon Cilia, right? No, it's not Demon Cilia. It's Giavale? Yeah, Giavale. And this entire fight too is not really hard. He does try to inflict you with statuses, but since you have Rimuru on the team, you just cleanse it. Can't heal. All your healing is like just destroyed. So if you have burst heal, you're not going to heal anything. But if you have all stats up, you are able to heal. Also, GFL does have a barrier mechanic kind of similar to that of Oldius in the DoT, where you have to break the barrier in order to really deal anything. But with Oldius, you know, if you don't break the barrier in time, Oldius will just one-shot you. Yeah, against GFL, you just need to break the barrier. That's all it is. If you break the barrier, then you're fine. He faints, and you're able to deal some damage to him. And yeah, he's just... This fight is easy. Like, literally, every single DoT floor has just one mechanic that's really annoying, but if you're able to get past that, then the rest of the battle is super smooth. That is all 32 floors conquered by me. Did I 100% each one? Hell no. Am I going to? Absolutely not. I get a freaking trash free character for 100%ing every single floor? Yeah. I just need to make sure my characters don't die so I get everything, and I'm not using the same units. As long as I can fulfill those conditions and get the crystal and then get the LB stones along the way, that's all I care about. Should you try to do this? I mean, if you want to like challenge yourself and see if you can actually get through each of the floors, it may be pretty fun, but it's really not worth it. The rewards aren't really all that. You're mainly doing it just for the crystals and then maybe like the various LB stones you get, and also there's a luck gem in this, so that's cool. I make sure I get that if I can. But yeah, that's literally it. Now, there's nothing else really happening here, so if you do it, good luck. That's all I can tell you. Good luck. If you had Little Riding Mirror though, and like Lisa Smart Skirt or some other like stuff that's a little bit more seasonal, you probably would. But hey, that's gonna be it for this one. Your boy's gotta get back to grinding JP. I'm still on that grind. You know, I didn't forget about it. Only been a day, chat. It's only been a day. I'm not forgetting about it just yet. But hey, you already know. Don't forget to drink water.